Levi here, the Outdoor Cowboy, and welcome back to the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing some bushcraft projects, just to show you some of the projects I've been doing over the past little while. Our big project is going to be making a backpacking and survival pan out of a piece of metal, but we're also going to be doing some other various leatherwork and things to be more prepared when we're in the outdoors. So come along with me for a couple of projects and saddle up for the ride. Alright, so like I said, we're going to be doing some awesome bushcraft projects. Just things I've been wanting to do, to make, to organize my gear better. So it'll be super fun, and like I said, we're going to have one big project, and that's going to be making a backpacking and survival pan out of this piece of metal. And then we'll throw in just a few more projects I've done along the way, just kind of in the middle. So there'll be a bunch of projects, but make sure to watch the full thing to see how this pan turns out. And then we'll definitely be using this pan on future campouts and survival trips, just because I'm super excited for it. So I just went to Lowe's and picked up this 16 gauge steel metal. It's just like a weldable stuff. So it's not galvanized or treated with any chemicals. It does have like an oil layer, and so I scrubbed it off really good. And then I trimmed it down to the right size and kind of just rounded off the corners a little bit. So we're obviously far from done, but I'm excited how this is going to turn out. I wanted to make a survival pan like this just because most pans, whether they're cast iron or like a thick steel, a thick aluminum, are just super heavy. And this thing weighs almost nothing. It's super light and will be super nice for when we're backpacking. And then we're also going to make it pretty flat. We're just going to bevel the edges just a little bit on each side, and then have some handles that can fold down. So this thing will take up barely any room in our backpack and won't add much weight to our pack. So I just thought this was awesome. I was just in need of a new pan and saw someone else make a pan similar to this. So I thought this would just be an awesome project, and I'm super excited for it. So the first step is gonna be, we're gonna pound up the edges just to get them to kind of dish a little bit more. Maybe if we throw butter in there or oil, just to keep it a little bit better, make it easier to cook on. And then we'll drill some holes. And then I also got this super long metal rod that we're gonna make some handles out of as well. And my goal for them is that they'll be able to flip up or kind of fold down just to tuck away a little bit better, but still be able to grab it. And if this is in the fire, a small piece of metal like this will cool down a lot quicker, so I'll be able to actually grab it out of the fire and not like need to let it sit for a super long time for the whole metal to cool down. So that's why we're gonna throw some handles on it, but let's get into pounding the edges to try to bevel them up a little bit. Then we'll make some holes and some handles and then clean it up, and then we'll get into the seasoning process where we'll burn off all the oil and season it with oil, get it super hot, do that a bunch of times so it's nice and protected, and then we'll have an awesome camping pan. Alright, just like that, we got our pan pounded out so the edges are just a little bit raised. It's obviously not perfect, but I think it looks pretty awesome. So super happy with it. Looks really good. If you put some butter and some oil in there, it'll definitely stay to fry or cook whatever we're doing. So that'll be perfect. Let's cut to another project real quick, and then we'll come back to this one. We'll drill some holes, get our handles made, and then we'll move on to seasoning our pan. Alright, it is a wet and gloomy day here, so we're gonna be doing just some simple leather projects that I've been wanting to get done in addition to our pan. And they'll just be quick little projects, but I thought it'd still be fun to throw in here just to show some of the possibilities of things you can make. So our first project that we're gonna do out of leather is gonna have to do with my ferro rod, which you guys know that I love this thing. I just wanna make a little strap for it because it has the striker that just kind of hangs around. So I thought it'd be cool to make just a little tiny leather strap that just wraps around them and holds it together. It's gonna be pretty small and quick and easy to make, but it's just something I've wanted because usually this thing's tossing around in my bag and the striker's going around, and I've had it catch stuff, so I don't really want that to happen. So we're gonna make a little strap for it. Let's get going on that. All right, so we got our ferro rod here, and our first step is gonna be taking our leather, and we're just gonna cut a little strip out of it. This is just a piece of leather I had laying around that I already used a straight edge to cut right here, so I thought that'd be perfect. We're probably gonna go about 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch thick, and we'll just cut a strip that'll be a little bit too long, and then we can trim it after. And we're gonna throw buttons in it to keep it so it clasps together. So let's use our knife to cut us a little strip, and then we'll get working on putting a button in it and that's pretty much all we have for this project, but it's something I've been wanting to do, and we got a couple more, so it'll be great. All right, just like that, we got a little strip cut, and basically this is just gonna wrap around our ferro rod just like that, and gonna clamp it down, make it so it's kind of together. And I think I'm gonna punch a hole in it so that it will fit on our leather strap as well. So when I take it off, it'll just be able to stay on the leather strap. I can use the ferro rod and then put it all back together. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll punch just a few holes in this, one for button on each side, and then in the middle for where the leather is gonna go, and it'll be perfect. All right, just like that, got that button installed, looks perfect. This is where our leather is gonna go through. So let's get her put on there, and we'll see where we need to put the other button. All right, we got this spot marked. I think I'm gonna leave a little bit of the tail end. I think it'll just fit nice and make it a little more snug, but just like that, that's perfect. It goes through the string on this side, and then this thing will slip in there. So we'll still be able to hold it by this thing, but it'll just keep it all nice and secured. So let's get a better hole punch there. We'll get this button in, and then we'll just rub some Kruber cream on it to really finish it and seal it, and then we'll be all done with this project. All right, we get the other two pieces that make up the other half of our buckle. All right, just like that, let's see how she works. So we'll slide it all together. That's snug right there. Wrap this side up and around, and this side right on there. Just like that, looks perfect. So let's rub some Kruber cream on this to get it all finished up, but looks awesome. I can hold it like this now, and that totally solves my problem. This thing's not flinging around at all, and it's pretty tight. I can pull on it pretty hard, and this thing doesn't slide out, so that'll just be perfect for us. Super happy with how it turned out. Let's rub some cream on it. We'll get a nice finish on it, and we'll be all done with this project. I love how this turned out. It'll just be perfect for us. Now let's get back into working on our pan. All right, just like that, got our holes drilled, so we'll start bending our handles. All right, just like that, we got one handle made, so it's just bent around the back. Can move a little bit, which will be good for just packing, but that should be perfect, won't drop down. So we'll do this on this side. It's getting a little dark, but after we get this second handle made, we'll jump to another project real quick, and then when we come back, we'll be doing the seasoning of our pan. Which seasoning for pans like this and cast iron pans consists of a couple things. We're gonna season ours in an oven, but you can do it in a grill or over a fire. And basically you get it to about 450 to 500 degrees for a while. You burn stuff off and get it heated up, and then you rub some oil on it, throw it back in the oven, bring it out, rub some oil on it. And we'll do that probably 3 or 4 times, and that's what's called seasoning a pan. And that'll just keep it really protected, make sure it's safe to eat our food, and we'll just make it so it's a great pan for us when we're out cooking. So we'll get this handle finished up, we'll jump to another project, and then we'll get to seasoning our pan. All right, just like that, we're all done. Got our handles on, sides are all beveled. Now it's ready to be seasoned. Looking awesome, love it so far. So we'll jump to another project, and then we'll get back to seasoning our pan. All right, and then for our next leather working project, we are gonna be making a leather pouch. So we'll be going through how I made this pouch. I've never made something like this, so it's definitely a learning experience for me, but I wanna make a lot more of these in the future, so I thought it'd be fun to just go for it and make one. And I thought it'd be cool to use it to organize some more stuff in my pack, so I might put like some toiletries in there, or maybe some fire starter stuff, something like that. So should be awesome. Let's jump into making our leather pouch. All right, so our first step for making our leather pouch is gonna be obviously our leather. This is just the remaining piece that I've had from some other projects, so I wanted to use it and basically just use the entire thing. So you can see here's some marks from some other projects, but in red pen, I've marked out what I want our pouch to look like. Which it took me a while to do this. I did a bunch of different iterations and stuff. I was trying to get the size right and make it so it would like be a little more open. So I didn't film that, but basically I've got the front of the pouch and the back of the pouch. It goes a little wider here because I'm hoping that will make it open a little bit better. And then
we've got our flap on top where we'll have a button so it can close. So a fairly simple design, just gonna be a big rectangle and be decent sized, but it's really just gonna be an experiment because I wanna make more pouches and stuff in the future. And I've never made one before, so this is what I think our first one will look like. So first step was just marking on our leather, and I love to mark it on the back of the leather because then the other side still looks really nice. And now we just gotta cut it out. So we'll grab an X-Acto knife and get our leather all cut out. There's one piece cut out. All right, and then our second piece just cut like that, so looks perfect. I think it looks great just like that. And I was trying to decide if I should sew this together or just use rivets. And I think on this one, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of rivets in, so basically 3 on each side. Just because I don't plan on putting anything super small on this, and I think that should work just fine. And the rivets will just be a super strong but easy way to make my first leather pouch, just because I'm kind of learning through all this. And then for my next one, I can tweak it, just because I think sewing would look super good. But for now, we're just gonna use rivets, which we're currently not at home right now, and usually I would use a hole puncher or something to punch big holes so that my rivets can fit through. But a simple hack is just to use a drill, which is a small drill bit on it. And you basically just take your rivet and kind of line it up to the drill bit, find the one that's about the same size, and then just drill your holes. Super simple, easy way, which is using a drill if you don't have a hole puncher to put your rivets in. So I got the holes for our rivets all drilled in this piece, and we'll do the same thing on the other one. But then I'm also gonna drill a hole because we're gonna throw our button in before we put our rivets in. So it's just gonna be right about here in the middle. So I drew a line here where the middle is. We'll just kind of put it down a little ways just so the buckle can fit over it and it can be really tight. Okay, just like that, this piece looks great. All right, just like that, we got all of our holes drilled for our rivets and for our buttons. So we're gonna give these a quick wipe down with Karuba cream just to get a nice finish on them. And then we'll start throwing them together, get it all done. And then we'll throw another layer on just to make it have a really nice finish. And we have all brass buckles and rivets, so I think it'll just look super nice. The gold color just looks awesome. All right, we got both of our buttons in, so these will clasp together on the top. Let's start riveting our thing together. All right, just like that, our pouch is all done. Got all the rivets in. Looks super nice. Our buckle comes and clasps just like that, which I think it looks awesome. Obviously right now the leather is like pretty bulging and kind of not super flat, but the nice thing about leather is over time it'll stretch and kind of form how you want it to. So I could like put a book on it or something to try to press the sides out a little more, make them like a little more squared off, which will look a little better. But I think it looks awesome. Pretty good size. We could fit a lot of stuff in there, so I might use this to carry some of the stuff in my backpack. It's super light, but obviously it's gonna be super strong, which is just awesome. It looks really cool and could really just help me keep some stuff organized, and it's just awesome that I made it. So, all right, I'm super pumped with how this turned out. I think it just looks awesome. I love the brass all over it, and I think it's just a really sweet looking pouch. So we'll probably do another layer or two of Karuba cream on this just to make it look really nice. Get a dark finish on it and keep it really protected, but super happy with how it turned out. Now let's get back into working on our pan. All right, we're back to start seasoning our pan. It's all finished up, so we're gonna get the oven going. We're gonna put it about 450 degrees, let it heat up. Then we'll heat up our pan, rub some oil on it, and then we just throw it in the oven for a while. So we'll see how it goes. We might take it out, put more oil on it, and put it back in. There's a bunch of different like methods that people say. Some people say to just do oil and then put it in the oven for an hour. Some people say to do it for like 30 minutes at a time, put it in there, pull it out, oil it again, put it in there. So we'll see what ours looks like. We'll be watching it for smoking and stuff, but we'll get to seasoning our pan and then we'll see the final product here in a little bit. Starting to get a super nice brown color on there. It's looking awesome. All right, for the last time, that's how our pan looks. Looks awesome.
Super cool bronze color. That'll be perfect for us. While we let it cool down, we'll jump to our last quick project, and then we'll be able to see our final product. All right, and then the last thing that I wanted to make is actually a leather bookmark, but like the ones that kind of slip onto the edge of a page. I've seen these and thought they looked really cool, and so I wanted to make one, and this is actually gonna be a Christmas gift for a relative, so it's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna texture the whole leather with a stamp to make it look really cool, and then we're just gonna sew the edges. So it'll be a pretty simple project, but I think it'll look really cool by the end. We'll make sure to get a really nice finish on it, and it should make a really cool bookmark. So never made something like this, but I just wanted to give it a try. All right, so we've got our leather again, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sketch a triangle, because that's gonna be the shape of it, and we'll cut one out, and then I'm gonna mirror it, because we'll cut one out, and then I'm just gonna put it on the leather again and trace it just to make sure we get the exact same shape, because we're gonna have to sew them together. Then we'll cut it out, just like that. Got a good looking triangle. Just like that, we got these two triangles. We will sew just the edges of them together like that, and then that'll slip right onto a book. So should be awesome. Let's get some holes punched in the leather. Okay, just like that, we got holes punched in them. So that'll be perfect for sewing. Now, last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our stamp, and this one is like a tri-weave, so it makes it look like the leather's kind of in a basket weave, but in 3 different ways. And we're gonna texture both these. I think it'll just look really cool, and then we're gonna use some white stitching. And once we get a nice finish on it with the Kruber cream and then a white stitch, I think it'll just look awesome. So we're gonna use our stamp to get a nice pattern on these, and it'll just make them look awesome. All right, just like that, we got both sides textured. Just looks awesome. So let's get to stitching these together. And I recently just got this white thread that I think will just look awesome, especially with a nice dark finish on it. So that's what we're gonna use to sew it together. And we're gonna be doing a whip stitch, which is kind of not the normal stitch that you think about when stitching. With most stitches, it just kind of goes between the holes like this, but a whip stitch, you wrap all the way around and you come back up through. So you're just going one direction the whole time. I just think it looks cool, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, just like that, we got it all stitched up, and I think the white stitch just looks awesome. Just looks a little bit nicer, and then the texture just looks great. So let's get a couple layers of Kruber cream on this, and we'll be all done, and it just looks awesome. Just like that, we got a finished leather bookmark. Looks awesome. I'll probably do another layer or two of Kruber cream on this just to get a really nice finish and make sure it's really sealed, but I'm super happy with how it turned out. Looks really cool, and I think it'll make a great bookmark. So just an awesome turnout for our last little project. All right, and just like that, we got the final product, our finished pan, all seasoned up. Just got a really pretty color on it. A lot of times these things turn black, but I've also done just a lot of cast iron, which are kind of already dark. So this thing just looks gorgeous. It's just a super pretty bronze color, and you can see the beveled edges now, and then our handles. So it just looks awesome. I'm super pumped for this, and I'm so excited to use it. It's super light, way lighter than the other pan, and I think it's even bigger, and it's also flatter, so it'll pack super well. As you can see in the seasoning video, we ended up doing a bunch of different coats on this. I found a bunch of things online for steel pans like this. I've never seasoned steel. I've only seasoned cast iron a few times, but I decided to do it similar to how I do cast iron, and that's with multiple different coats. So we had our oven right about 480 degrees because we used avocado oil, which smoke points right above 500, so it wouldn't smoke, but it'd be enough for it to really do its job and make our pan so we can cook on it and seal it and protect it. And we did that 4 times in 20-minute batches, and then we just let it cool, and it got this beautiful color and just looks awesome. So I'm super excited about this. This is one of the best projects I've ever done. And the best part was, I believe all my material was right around just $30. So that's super cool. And I looked at a bunch of like camping pans and stuff, and they were all more than $30 for like a similar size and strength. So really just goes to show that sometimes doing projects are not only fun, you get to learn new skills, but you also get a cool pan that you can say you made yourself for even cheaper than you can buy one for. So I'm super happy with how this turned out. It's just a beautiful color, and it'll be awesome in the future. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because there are going to be many videos in the future where we cook on this and use this to make some delicious meals when we're out surviving, doing different things. So it'll be super awesome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and look forward to those videos. But I'm just super happy with how this project and our other projects turned out. I love just doing stuff like this because not only is it fun, a great use of time to learn some new skills and things, but you also get to make just awesome stuff that helps you in certain ways and just looks awesome and makes you proud that you can say you made it. So there'll be plenty more projects like these in the future. I just thought it'd be fun to make a quick little compilation of me doing a bunch of different projects and things, just because I really liked them and I thought you guys would like watching them as well. A couple smaller ones and then our big one, just making this awesome camping and survival pan that we're definitely going to use in the future. So thanks a ton for watching. I really hope you enjoyed coming along with me for these projects and watching this video. And thank you all so much for the support on these videos. I love making these and I'm super grateful for everyone that watches and subscribes. So thanks a ton for watching. Look out for a bunch of future videos where we use this pan, and I'll see you in the next one. If you liked this video, make sure to check out the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. We've got new videos every week, survival adventures, camping projects, tool restorations, and a whole bunch more. Hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.